Hello. Right, today I'm going to be playing with a switchbox. I'm going to be pen and paper. Oh, where's the pen gone? That's it. That's dead already. So pen and paper, 12 core cable, and going to be wiring up the switchbox so that'll be ready to go and ready to drop into the car once it's finished. So going to write down all the colours that I need, you know, to associate with what does what. So going to get that written down straight away, and then I'm going to wire up take apart the car, maybe drill the hole in the back a little bigger. Don't know, I'm kind of hoping I don't have to, but it looks like I'm going to. I don't think that's wire's going to fit in there slightly. Right, let's take it apart, and well, first of all, I'll write down what I need to do, all the colours and everything. So let me just stick you up in the little holder. Right, so that's now written down. This is also my little record as well, just in case my piece of paper goes missing. I can refer back to this video. So that's all written down. So now time to strip the car out again and poke the wire through the holes and wire it up. Right, well, that's the sort of chassis off of the body. There's one thing I wanted to show you. Look how detailed that interior is. It's all the handbrake lever and seat adjustments and what have you, and the floor mats have all been painted differently. The steering wheel. That's incredible. Thank you very much, Richard. I really like it, mate. You've gone to a lot of trouble there. Definitely, I really like that. So there we go. So now then, back onto this. So like I say, I've got to get the cable through that hole at the back, and then I've also, unfortunately, I've got to drill a hole in the back seat to be able to get the cable up there. But the problem is, obviously the body is separate. So I've got to kind of feed it through here, feed it through there, and then back onto there. So unless, one thing I don't really want to do, but unless I do sort of completely destroy the back seat and maybe slice it down there and down there, cut that bit off, and then I can literally just slot that on top and the wire will just sit in there. I suppose you're not really going to see it, are you? It's a shame to do it, but I think that's probably going to be the best option, really. So yeah. Right, well, let's put you back up in the stand and you'll be the first people to see if that wire fits through that hole. I'm pretty sure it ain't. Right, here we go. See if I can do this so you can see. I think all these, actually, let's use the other end. I haven't got to try and feed that through there then, have I? Where are you? Oh, it's close. It is close, but there ain't no way I'm squeezing that through there. So, right, I've just noticed as well. Oh yeah, that comes off. The number plate light was, sorry Rich, that was glued on just above the hole. So, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to use the die grinder, grind that hole out a bit, then maybe stick the number plate light back on. Okay, right, let me just go and use the die grinder and I'll be back. Right, back from the die grinder, and sorry Richard, I tried to do this as gracefully as possible, but a little bit of the paint's chipped off there. And I've also taken the slice out of the rear seat as well. So that's now where the wire can run through. I've just literally dropped the body back on top, and yeah, it's going to work. So, sorry, major wobble there. Next step then is to wire it up, I suppose. Yeah, it's quite scary. I'll tell you what I'm going to do though. I'm going to get the black Sharpie and colour in the edges of that seat, just to make me feel better. I feel horrible for destroying that bit, but that had to be done. Right, okay, yeah, let me just get a black Sharpie and colour that in. And then I think we'll run with this wire, and I'll show you what I'll do to going to heat the wire in place as well. I've made the hole bigger than it needs to be for a good reason, only a slight bit. But I'll let me just colour that back seat bit in, and I'll be back. Right, that makes me feel a bit better. Oh, didn't do the back bit. But you're never going to see in there again once it's together. Doesn't matter, does it? Right, so, like I say, got to flip these through there. I'll fit in there easily now. And we've got to start wiring them up. Now, half of me wants to solder them. The main input wire I've got to solder. Let me just pull this out. So I don't know if I showed you in the video when I was making this, but I've soldered across all of these joints in here because that's the power supply to each switch. So across that main there and across there, and that's also looped at the side with a piece of wire as well. So I've only got to connect the orange to somewhere on one of them 2 bars, and that will supply power to all 6 switches. So that's that bit easily done. Like I say, I really do want to solder this lot in, but if ever I get a switch go wrong, it's going to be a nightmare. But that's what I've got to live with, I think. I can't screw the wires on now where it's in the car, and I can't really undo all of this, drop it all out. It's a pain. Oh, we got a visitor.
Hello.
Hello, you come to see what I'm doing? Right, okay. Just wiring up the switch box. Well, or just about to start wiring up the switch box. Right then, let's get cracking on and do some of this wiring. Right, there's one critical bit that I need to do before I do anything of this, and that's get rid of the unwanted wires in here. We don't want to put more wires in than I'm not going to use, so we just got to cut out the unwanted ones. So just got to run through what we're going to use. So orange, a white, black, grey, pink, yellow, green, red and brown. So out of the 12 core cable, there's 3 that we're not going to use. So let me just have another double check think on my head. Definitely not going to get in. We've got 1 in, loads out. Yep, that'll do. So we'll cut these 3 wires back, get rid of them, don't need them at all. So that's it, we're just left with what we're going to need. Now, first thing we got to do, probably the most important, is strip back all the ends. Let's get them all ready and tinned, put some solder on the end of them, no matter what order I do these in. That's it. So they're all stripped, ready to go. But what I probably will end up doing is once these go in, these are all going to be backwards and forwards. So I may end up, I don't know. No, it doesn't really matter. Let's just get all these wires tinned now, get some solder on them. And I'm sure you don't want to watch that in real time, so we'll stick you back on time lapse once I've twisted all these ends, make it nice and easy to do. Yeah, we'll stick you back on time lapse and we'll do a bit of soldering. And then we'll work out what pins on these switches do what, because there is a little bit of another trickery got to go on as well. I've got to join some other terminals together. It is very, very simple. Very simple the way this is going to be wired. Okay, right, let me just tin the ends of these cables. Like I say, you don't want to watch that, so let's stick you on time lapse for a mo. Sorry about that, you probably couldn't see a lot because I probably had my bald head in the way and hands, but there we go. Right, all the wires have got solder on them now. So like I say, now I've just got to do some more jiggery pokery in there. In fact, just looking now, I don't know if you can see, let's see if we can get you a bit up close there. Yeah, all these terminals have all still got the screws in. I don't think I'm going to need the screws because, like I say, I'm going to solder everything in. So, right. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of all them screws. That could be a bit of a challenge, especially in that middle row. Right. Okay, let's see how I can do that. Might need a very small screwdriver. Wonder if that window will just pop straight back out. Oh no, might break something. No, I won't do that. Right, let me see if I can do something. I'll get back to you in a mo once I've figured out what I'm going to do. Wow, no lie, that just taken me about 45 minutes. Well, about 40 minutes to be precise. But a little pile of tiny screws down here now. I did it with one of these, like, I don't know, they call them jeweler's screwdrivers, but quite a large one for that sort of thing, I'd imagine. So I did it with one of them and a screwdriver bit you put in the end of like a bigger screwdriver. Held that in the tip of my fingers. The hardest one to do was up by the windscreen here. That was, I could hardly get my fingers in there, let alone the screwdriver bit as well. I kept dropping that and lots of swear words there was. Anyway, that bit's now done, so brilliant. So now then, what I've got to do, obviously you've got to, let's get you in the picture. Say like this is one of the switches, the centre one. We pick these two terminals here, so I want to join that terminal to that one, and then that terminal to that one on all of the outsides of these switches, because when I operate the centre switch, I want it to operate both of those corners. When I operate that switch, I only want to operate that one. So that's the way that's going to work. Yeah? Are you with it? Right, let's get this sorted. Right, just going to start soldering these wires on. Now, obviously the orange is going to be the main feed in, so I'm going to solder that to there. And if you noticed, I've also put a Jubilee clip on the wire, loose at the moment. And that'll stop the wire pulling back out of the box. You won't see that because that'll be in the boot of the little car, so should be well hidden. Right, probably going to be quite a long time lapse on this one, so skip forward if you really want to, but I'm going to stick you back up in the little holder and put you on time lapse again as you can solder these wires on. Right, just off video now. I've just wired in all these little black link leads, and that's to every single switch that links it into the middle switch. Now the reason for that is when I hit the middle switch one way, it'll send power to both of these, you know, from this main buzz bar over to these two terminals, which at the end of here will be the wires going to the other points. So when I hit the switch, it'll send power to both of these connections, and then when you'll let go of the switch, it separates them again. So when I hit this switch, it'll only send power to that corner. So one switch will do one corner, another the other. That'll do both. One corner, both. That's the idea behind it. So now, like I say, I'm going to put you onto time lapse and watch me cock this soldering up. Not really. I'll do my best. Right then, let's flip you over. Right, those them wires soldered in. Sorry about kept getting me hands and arms and everything in the way of the camera. It's really difficult to position it so you can see what I'm doing, but even though it is quite quick, I suppose. So yeah, that's all them soldered into place. Next thing I want to do, there's another little mod I've made as well. I've wired the doors shut because I didn't want them flapping around and get in the way really. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get to the other end of the cable now and strip that off, and then I'm gonna buzz through all the switches, make sure they all do what I want them to do and the right colours according to my little list. So right, let me set this up and then I'll switch the camera back on. So back in a nanosecond. Right, so that's this set up. Good old trusty power probe with a button that sometimes sticks. There you go. So you've got to be a little bit careful with that if you're testing anything too delicate. Right, so the idea is, actually this might come in handy. The idea is I put one on one side of the switch and I've got a little buzzer there that will tell me whether I've got power at it. So let me just set you up on the old tripod again and you zoom in and you can get to see what I'm doing. Right, actually this sticky switch on this little power probe could come in handy. So I've wrapped the orange wire around the end of the probe. You can just see that at the bottom of the screen there. So let's see if I can get it to stick. There we go. So now, according to my list here, which I'll just keep about there so I can see it, offside front up should be white. So, ooh, that switch is not sticking. So if I clip the other end of my buzzer on the white, offside front, oh, there we go. And that also should do that one as well, but not this one. And it shouldn't affect any other switch. So brilliant, that works. Offside front down is black. So I'll clip that on the black. And my little light, I'm gonna have to hold that button again. So that should be that one down. Perfect, that should do that side down. Perfect, well you get the idea, don't you? Just obviously making sure that no other switch is affected as well. We don't want to be pressing, you know, putting a back down and a front jumps up at all. So perfect. Just going to check the rest of them now. I'll put you on time lapse once again. You don't really want to watch me test every single wire, do you? So let's time lapse you. There you go, perfect example of why I test this. I've cocked it up. According to my list here, offside rear up is grey, so that's going to be the offside rear. Nothing, but wired it to the down. So just going to have to flip all the wires around in there. So a bit of unsoldering and resoldering now. Back in a tick. Right, there we go. I've just flipped them 4 wires round, so I'd managed to get them the wrong way round on the switch. Stupid, but when you're doing things upside down and the bottoms of the switches kind of work the opposite way to what you're pushing it, it does get very confusing. It's easy to make wrong. So anyway, I'm on the red wire that end, and red according to this is near side rear, which will be this switch here, and that should be up. So yeah, that should also do it. Perfect. Shouldn't be affected by any other switch yet. So literally just got to check the brown now. Let's do this one quick while we're on camera. That should be, oh, hold on, brown, near side rear down, hold on. Oh, didn't put it on the wire. There you go. Panic then. 2 more wires to go, grey and pink. So grey should be offside rear up. Yeah, that one as well. Not affected by anything else. And then pink is the last wire. Let's do that. So pink should be offside rear down. Offside rear down. Yeah, that one as well. Push them all the other way. Right, there you go. All wired and ready to roll, really. All I've got to do is put the car back together. I've tightened up the Jubilee clip on the inside, so that wire now doesn't pull back anymore. And that all looks fairly good. I'm quite happy with that. Let's just hope the car goes back together now. I don't want to go having to cut any more of that back seat away. I think that's more than enough. So I'll show you what it looks like once it's back together. Should be good. Right, there you go, all back together. That's another thing ticked off the list of things to do. Like I say, that can't pull out anymore. I don't know if you can see through the back window there, but where that wire lays through the back seat and parcel shelf, it's absolutely spot on. There you go. So switch box and wire complete. I've just got to wrap this up with this piece of paper so I know what I'm doing when the time comes to fit it. And then stash this away somewhere ready for later on when it's all done. Well, thanks for watching another video on this. As I say, another thing ticked off the to-do list. And I'm really pleased with how this looks. So thank you very much, Richard, for painting this car up and everything for me. You've done a fantastic job. And thanks also for Jordan, who, my daughter's boyfriend. He got me the model in the first place, so I explained to him what I wanted. He said, yeah, I think I've got something. So might have explained that in a previous video, but, you know, so yeah, thanks to Jordan and Richard making that bit possible. Well, until the next episode, I've got a week off coming up. I think from the 15th of October this year. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully, might be able to paint the car. Depends how well we do and how much help I get. So, right, thanks again. See you later.